The Major League Baseball trade deadline has officially come and gone, and the New York Mets made an earlier trade this afternoon to acquire first baseman DH/outfielder Darren Ruff from the San Francisco Giants for third baseman/designated hitter J.D. Davis, as well as 3 minor league players. Now, the New York Mets were going into the rest of this trade deadline looking for more catching, as well as another power hitter at the catching position, and maybe upgrades at the bullpen position. Well, the 6 p.m. deadline has come and gone, and the New York Mets were able to acquire at least one more starting pitcher for their bullpen, and that is the New York Mets have traded for reliever from the Chicago Cubs, Mychal Givens, who is right now pitching to a 2.66 ERA with 6 wins and 2 losses in 40 games this year, with 2 saves on his record for 2020. He's been pitching in 40.2 innings with 51 strikeouts and a whip of 1.254. So that's very good numbers for a guy that's going to be coming in and slotted right into the Mets bullpen going forward, and a much-needed presence as a right-hander going into this season. Now, over his career, Mychal Givens has pitched in a total of 400 games. He has a career average of 3.34 in his career so far. He has a win-loss record of 31 wins to 22 losses with a WAR of 9.0. He has no games saved right now, and save opportunities he has 31. He's pitched in 437 innings pitched so far and 517 strikeouts overall, as well as a 1.181 whip right now over a span of about 9 years in his career, from Baltimore, Toronto, Baltimore again, Colorado, Toronto again, and then Colorado, Cincinnati in 2021, and he spent obviously his past year in Chicago before being traded to the Mets at the trade deadline today. So what Mychal Givens is going to give the New York Mets is another arm out of the bullpen that's going to help strike out against lefties, provide some power pitching in the middle of that lineup. The 32-year-old has still got a very lively arm, and you could throw him in there for middle relief, and you could hopefully trust this guy that he's going to be able to go out there and give the Mets some solid relief if they need to give their starters a little bit of a rest. So I don't mind this move at all. Mychal Givens has now been traded from the Chicago Cubs to the New York Mets, and I believe they've been traded at least one lower-level prospect back to the Chicago Cubs in return for Mychal Givens. So right now, that's the only move that the New York Mets have made other than the Darren Ruff acquisition they made earlier. So far, the New York Mets, as the trade deadline has come and gone, the Mets have acquired Daniel Vogelbach and Michael Perez from the Pittsburgh Pirates, Tyler Naquin and Philip Deal from the Cincinnati Reds. They have acquired Mychal Givens from the Chicago Cubs, and then they've acquired Darren Ruff from the San Francisco Giants. So obviously the New York Mets right now just want to add some more depth to their roster, to the team that they have constituted right now. They obviously believe in the starting pitching they have right now as we speak, and obviously they believe in the rotation, and they think they must think that once they get some of their bullpen arms back, coupled with you get McGill back, you can throw him in the bullpen for some pitches, as well as you can put David Peterson in there for some relief innings as well. And they might think that you're going to be able to use guys like Vogelbach, Naquin, Ruff as platoon guys at the DH position. You don't have J.D. Davis here anymore. Dom Smith is currently still on the roster, but you don't know if his future is still here with the Mets. They could obviously DFA them if they really feel that way, since they have Guillorme, Escobar, and as I mentioned before, you got Darren, you got Ruff, you got Naquin, and you got Vogelbach here. They're going to probably get more of the at-bats at the DH/third base position, and even at first base if you need to spell Pete Alonso from time to time. So that's just the news that's come out for the New York Mets. As today, before the trade deadline hit 6 p.m., the New York Mets have acquired Mychal Givens from the Chicago Cubs in exchange for a lower-level prospect who's going back to Chicago. So the Mets add some much-needed bullpen help to a team that badly needed some bullpen help. They still don't have a lefty guy, but they're going to be trying out David Peterson as a reliever going forward. So that's just all the news that I have for the New York Mets in terms of the trade deadline. If you like the video, please hit the like button below. Turn on the bell for notifications on the next video or short that comes on for the New York Mets. Share your comments below on what you feel about the Mychal Givens acquisition to the New York Mets. And what you think he's going to be able to bring to the table for this bullpen for the rest of the 2022 season. And hit the like button if you haven't already, and subscribe to MYG Jeffy 3285 for more breaking news updates and chatter surrounding the New York Mets, Brooklyn Nets, New York Giants, WWE Wrestling, as well as food for thought. Everybody have a great rest of your Tuesday night. Hope you have a great rest of your week, and let's go New York Mets. All you got to do is believe.